Thank you all for coming out to the Avengers Initiative panel. We'll start in about a minute. Thank you. Well, good afternoon. My name is Chu-Lin. I am the leader of the Avengers Initiative Marvel Volunteer Fan Group, and I'm here to welcome you all to our presentation, Fans Assemble. This presentation will kind of give you an idea of who we are, what we try and do as volunteer Marvel fans in our community. So, the Avengers Initiative, we're a national organization of like-minded costume volunteers that get together to celebrate Marvel fandom. We have chapters throughout the United States. A couple of us, part of the group, belong to a California chapter called the West Coast Avengers. One of our presentation panelists is part of our Hawaii chapter, the Avengers Mid-Pacific. And our newest chapter is in Texas, part of a group called the Lone Star Avengers. What I'd like to do is have myself and a couple of my authors explain what we do, what our group is, our interest in Marvel costuming, and how we kind of join. So for me, I was lucky as a kid. My dad got into pop culture media. He introduced me to the comic books that he liked. I dived into that stuff when I was a youngster, and I was very interested in reading that material. When I got older, out of college, I got interested in costuming. And what was interested for the passion for me was to bring these characters to life through, researching, what an outfit looks like, how I could try and piece it together. And then particularly when the MCU came about with, Iron Man back in 2008, it's like, wow, is there a group, because I'm part of other groups that include, let's say, the Falcon First or the G.I. Joes or the Finest, like, how can I bring these characters alive? Can I work with other people to share that? And I was very happy to find a group called the Avengers Initiative that share that like-minded goal of bringing fandom, working with other folks who are interested in sharing with other people. Let me go and hand it off to my other officers who can share their interest in Marvel. Kevin, go and introduce yourself to our audience, please.
My name is Kevin Nagata. Actually, on Facebook, I'm Kato Trooper. That's what I go by usually. And I actually started the Avengers Mid-Pacific in Hawaii. And we're part of that subgroup, just the one state right here. And then we're part of the whole group is Avengers Initiative. Put us all together. So it was fun starting it, and I already had a bunch of cosplay friends that was totally interested into Marvel, so all of us was just a Marvel costuming group to begin with. And many of us also belong to other groups too, whether it be Ghostbusters or Power Rangers or Japanese superheroes like tokusatsu and things like that. So we just all gather around together, but the main thing was the Avengers Mid-Pacific. And that's what I started over there, and currently I'm the executive officer for Avengers Initiative, the national group.
So Kevin, on our slide for you, we have a couple of different outfits. We have Marvel, the X-Men Cyclops, Spider-Man's Lizard, and Samurai Spider-Man. Could you kind of share with our audience, why did you choose these outfits?
Well, when I saw the toy for Spider-Man Samurai, I was just so fascinated that I wanted to create it. So I just put it together, and it worked out really, really well. For the others, it was fun. You have to work with the skill level that you had. At that time, foam was the only thing that I knew how to do. So that's what I put together for Cyclops up there. I always wanted to do Lizard, but that got kind of hot after a while with a mascot. But yeah, once you start doing something like this, it becomes really interesting, because there was a time when I didn't want my face to be shown because I was working, right? And you don't want your clients to know that you do these kind of things, but later on I did. And my feelings changed on that. So that was, I always wanted to wear a helmet or mask on, but it changed after a while. It wasn't about me, it was more about something bigger, like charities that put smiles on kids' faces.
Thank you. So let me introduce our club branding officer, Bryan. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What got you into costuming? What do you like Marvel? And share with us some of the interests, why you picked the outfits that you have as a part of our group.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, I'm Bryan. Yeah, I've always been a Marvel fan through and through. I feel like the first time I really got sucked into Marvel was through the X-Men animated series as a kid. All the Marvel trading cards. I've always been a fan, and I remember dabbling in cosplay. I believe the first time was taking a homemade Obi-Wan Kenobi costume for Attack the Clones opening night, and that sort of got the ball rolling for me to just enjoy the thrill of just dressing up as some of your favorite characters. And the very next year is when I went to my first San Diego Comic-Con, and I fell in love with it. I haven't missed a con of it since, I definitely learned of the Avengers Initiative through some of our cosplay shoots that we do. It was actually Comic-Con 2019 that I came as my Mr. Negative, the one in the middle there, the Spider-Man villain. And I came to know about this group, and I realized, like Kevin mentioned, there's a number of different cosplay clubs that also do volunteer work and partner with various charities, just to try to do good for our community through our love of cosplay. And as soon as I heard about a Marvel one, I knew I wanted to join it, and so it was like the following year that I joined West Coast Avengers as a member, and I'm honored to be serving now as a branding officer for the national level of the club. And yeah, it's been a dream come true since.
Thank you. So, hey, we're all here at Comic-Con, celebrate fandom in its various shapes and forms. One of the things our groups likes to do is to share that with others. So I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Robert. Robert, could you please introduce yourself to our audience and tell them what you do, man?
Mostly I work IT, it's my real job, and my passion, my hobby is photography. I've been doing photography for about 40 years, not saying how old I am, but I started doing cosmic photography about 10 years ago. And I just was walking around taking pictures of everybody else, and then I ran into the Marvel group shoot at Comic-Con 2014. Started to meet Mark, and there's another gentleman, Bill Waters, and started learning Bill, and eventually I started to run the Marvel group shoots with Mark, both at WonderCon and San Diego Comic-Con. I enjoy it. It's fun. I love taking pictures of the cosplayers. I enjoy just showing them what their cosplay looks like. I also I like taking pictures I'm not saying pretty women, but like the ones that just you look at them going, okay, yeah, come over here, let's do a quick shoot, and then their attitudes change when they're the center of attention. And when I do, and that's how I run the group shoots as well. So I make sure that the cosplayers are the center of attention. That's what we're here for. We're here for the cosplayers. We're here for the costumes. It doesn't matter if the costume is some Zentai suit that they bought at Party City or somebody who spent several $100 on the costume. They're all the same. And I try to make sure that everybody gets up on the stage, everybody gets up on the stairs, gets their part, gets their time to light right. And then at the same time, I make sure my photographers are the shot. You're using a smartphone or you're carrying a piece like this. I make sure that I always make sure photographers get your shots. Great, cool. And we do an exchange. So I just make sure everybody's having fun with the group shoots.
So as you mentioned, we've done both Comic-Cons, WonderCon, and San Diego. For those of you who did not go to WonderCon this year, it was a little different. We had a little bit of torrent weather, it rained. And as opposed to when WonderCon was at San Francisco Moscone, our bedrock shooting has been outside at a couple locations. We had to improvise, shoot indoors. it was different. So we luckily did find a spot with Comic-Con's help to host such a gathering. Robert, share with our audience, I guess, the discussions you and one of our other peers had, just trying to make this gathering. You know, there's you and Bill, and there's all the people we got together. I mean, Brian, you were there with us. Kind of share. That was for those of you who were at WonderCon this year. It was just a little crazy with the weather. So.
Yeah, first time in 10 years at WonderCon, it rained that weekend. And it was off and on, and when it was on, it was heavy rains, and when it wasn't on, when it was off, there was huge puddles. So it's like you really wouldn't ask the cosplayers to stand in the puddles. And typically we have at WonderCon, if you're not familiar with the event, on the second level, there's a big flight of stairs. So you can have no up there, we play room for photographers. And this year, we were in the exhibit hall. And we had about 200 cosplayers in that shop. And we're trying to make sure that everybody was seen, everybody, that the photographers got the shot. It was utter chaos. But myself, Bill, Brian, we worked together, we worked through it, we had cosplayers and able photographers help out, and we were able to pull it off. But it was just thinking on your feet is the big thing with these shoots, is you have to be able to adjust the fly, in this case it was. We got the biggest section, and even still, it wasn't big enough. And just trying to wrangle all the cosplayers together. It was an event. We pulled it off. I went the stairs again though. I don't want no more rains. No more rains.
Especially since the stairs so well shows off. You know,
Yeah.
it's a little hard to be able to do it flat on this, in the exhibit hall that way. But we can't control the weather despite how many storms we had with us.
So it was almost like going back to elementary high school. Tall kids in the back, small kids in the front, and even still, nobody was listening. Because we had some small people, it's like Spider-Man, you're being blocked by Thor. Get over here now.
Get your Spider-Man crouch as low as you can.
Yeah.
But all things considered, I think we made it.
No, so it's kind of hard to see. We're in the middle. He described to the folks who we had. What was it? The Scarlet Witch in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, because of his eye for photography, Robert and Bill were making sure, hey, we got to have the tall people, or sort of can be seen out in the middle of that section of each photograph and stuff like that. So I really appreciate that eye.
And this is one thing I always believe about it. And like Bill's always told me, if I can't see your face, you're not going to be in the shot. That was a fun. I was running it back and forth on my line, making sure everyone was there. It's like, okay, you're good. Take it. Just take it down when we have it.
Fast forwarding to this show. So Comic-Con, seems like they like what we do as fans. We've been featured for this year's promotion for the show, and things like the welcome booklet and stuff like that. Thankfully the weather here in San Diego allowed us to do it outside and back step to the West Mezzanine area. Brian, Robert, describe how you felt about yesterday's shoot. We had a lot of people out there. How was it like?
Oh, it was a lot better than WonderCon.
That's true. I mean, we had much better weather for one thing, so it was nice. And especially, ideally, just like the steps that Robert mentioned at WonderCon, you want someone in a place where you can elevate the people in the back, and everyone can get a nice view of these head and shoulders of everyone, because you want to show off that incredible cosplay work that you've been working really hard at. So yesterday was a blast. We got beautiful weather again right there up back on the West Mezzanine steps, and it's always a blast, especially these group shoots. I mean, like I mentioned before, the group shoots are how I found out about this club, and it's a huge part of the joy. Part of the reason why we do conventions is to find like-minded cosplayers, and a lot of us people.
Yeah, exactly. I've met more people through group shoots than I did with both photographers and cosplayers. Look at that's how that Brian worked. That's how that Brian and Bill Waters. There's so many other people that have been through group shoots and everything else, and because of this club that these gentlemen organize and run through. It's a pleasure to be part of it. It's a pleasure to be coming out when needed. And it says, just wearing the group shoes, it says the old saying, it's like herding cats. everybody wants their costume to see, everybody wants their shot, and just trying to control everything. And that's the reason why this is, we do the big group shoots, and we do call outs, heroes, villains, Avengers, X-Men, everything else. And we try to keep things going, try to make sure every cosplay, every product is involved.
It's always fun to do those kind of subgroup shots too,
Yeah.
especially right after we do the mega shot. Let's get all our mutants together. Let's get all our Asgard mutants together. You can have a lot of fun having little themed subgroups of all the cosplayers who arrive and kind of showcase their costumes a little more wider and open in a smaller group. Yeah, they're always good fun, especially like I know yesterday we had a number of young kids who were cosplay too. We had little kids shot. And yeah, it's always a blast. Just being able to converge everyone together at once and then use that opportunity to just, get all the shots you can of every little subgroup that you like. Yeah, it was a good blend. It was good fun and went really well yesterday. And always a pleasure to do the group shoots here. And it's an honor to feature our group shoots in promotion for the convention itself. And, it's a good time.
So Kevin, you've done a lot of these Comic-Con shots with us, but you guys organize stuff in Hawaii. Can you share with our audience some of the shows that Avengers Pacific attends and what you guys do?
Okay. Yeah, so for Avengers Mid-Pacific in Hawaii, we've done a lot of things in the community. Shriners was one of them. The community hospitals was another. And you really have to be careful about the hospitals because of privacy rights and things like that. So, you have to be careful about photographs that are taken if there's kids around. You have to ask permission on many of these things. But it's always fun to do these because, again, it's something bigger than you, and it just puts a smile on everybody's faces. We've done even like a local park, and it was an Easter egg hunt set out by the state. We've done something called Hawaii Children and Youth Day, where we had a whole bunch of cosplayers out there, maybe about 30 or 40 cosplayers, and we were just making the rounds to the booths as well as the audience. There was probably about 20,000 people in the audience just roaming around to different booths, and we were just over there just trying to attract them to come by us, and we'll take a picture with you. And it was sometimes adults really got more into it than the kids, but it was fun. Overall, it was very, very fun. And then I don't know if anybody of you have heard about the Great Aloha Run and Great Aloha Keiki, which is for kids. We've made sure that we've been part of that too, to just be there at the finish line or at the starting gates. And if the parents want to take pictures with the kids and with us in costume, it's all volunteer and it's all fun and heartwarming when you do these kind of things.
Well, you guys have shows out there as well. Share with our audience, what some of the shows that are in Hawaii that you guys have organized.
Well, our shows aren't as big as this. We might have a total of 10,000 people on a 3-day weekend. So it's not as big as you see in San Diego. But we are the club that organizes the photo shoots. And we might have maybe 30 to 50 people at Marvel photo shoots. It all varies. But yeah, we try to get it on a Saturday, and we try to spread the word that this is where it is. And a lot of times, when we see someone in a convention center with a Marvel outfit, we'll go up to them and say, don't forget, we have a photo shoot with Marvel, with a Marvel photo shoot for all Marvel characters at this time, at this place. And so that's a lot of times people didn't know about it, and they're very excited about coming on board. And that's, again, how we also able to recruit people too, by getting them aware. We do Avengers Mid-Pacific announcements because we're the ones that's putting up the photo shoot. And so many people come up to us afterwards and ask, how do I join you guys' club? What kind of charities do you do? It's things like that. It's just a way of getting the name out there and having fun doing that.
Thanks. Just take a moment. Any questions from the audience on what we've gone over so far? Okay, go on. Doing convention activities, we also want to take that chance to share with those who attend the show. Allow me to introduce our next speaker, Scottie, with an organization called Magic Wheelchair. Scottie, could you explain what Magic Wheelchair is, what you do, what you try to do for others, please?
Yeah, we're a nonprofit from Portland, Oregon. We're actually international, but we're run out of Portland, Oregon. And we make costumes for kids and young adults who use wheelchairs. And it's anything they ask for, we just kind of figure it out. So we're not con specific by any means. If it's a concert or a birthday party, school event, whatever they want, figure it out. So things like, anything from princesses to zombies to or Metallica, a little 6-year-old girl who was waiting one of the Master Class costumes, which was awesome. I had to do that. Anything. And then we work with builders all over the place. We organize teams around kiddos as best we can locally, so kids say, like Topeka, Kansas, we'll try to find some builders around Topeka, which may be difficult. Coastal areas are easy to get prop shops and, amusement parks, so they're only building things. So we try to find playhouses, haunted house shows, the same type of prop building that we use. And cosplayers, and try to get everybody involved. And cosplay groups get involved, but like maybe more of an event for the kid. I don't know, we just try to, it's all about inclusion and empowerment. The costume is completely secondary. It's all about a kid asks for something and comes to fruition, and they understand that despite their disability, they still have the power to accomplish it. So that's why we do what we do. And it's all about breaking down barriers, just trying to, and create systemic change and change the language surrounding disabilities. It's not, wheelchair bound is the thing we want to say. The wheelchair is a mobility device, right? It gives you freedom. So we're all about trying to just change the language. Whatever. That's where you come in. Join up. Come build some things. We work with Stan Winston School of Character Arts quite a bit, so anybody that works with us gets free education through Stan Winston School, which is pretty cool. Stan Winston, obviously, Terminator, whatever, for Jurassic Park. And it's fun, it's exciting, it's stressful, and it's important, and it's about the kids and not about us. So it's, get a lot of people like, let me know when you get a Star Wars thing, and get involved. It's like, if you know how to build something, just do it. Doesn't matter what it is. My Little Pony, do it. You're out. So that's what I did. I guilt people into doing the right thing.
Well, thank you. We appreciate as a group to include your recipients, whether it was a kid who clearly loves Spider-Man, you had event one last year, especially with the Spider-Verse movies coming out. You reach out to inquiries about Iron Man related. So it's great, I remember back several years ago, you guys had a whole bunch of ones, like I think it was Star Wars, The Last Jedi, a whole bunch of animated pieces.
LA Comic Con, you guys did a Disney one a couple of years ago. The Disney princess was, she was part of the Disney group shoot too as well.
I've done so many. I never went to the Comic Con personally.
Okay,
so
yeah.
That's
Somebody else, but yeah,
but
your group did it.
Yeah.
It was a major show. And we were getting really involved with the Disney group shoot. I do the Disney group shoot.
It's awesome. Thanks to you, been involved.
It was involved. It's awesome with the group shoot.
We've done I think we've done 470 costumes so far. We've been an organization since 2015. The first couple of years, obviously, I think there's 5 costumes the first year, and then next year our whole thing was like, let's double it every year. Maintain that momentum, right? So,
Well, could you show the audience, how did this start,
friend of ours named Ryan had kids involved as a Maytag too. It's a spinal muscular atrophy is where the genes missing that control the signal from the brain to the muscles and proteins. But the protein, so anyhow, it just causes like weakness and atrophy of the muscles. So his kids were born with that. It's the same condition like that. So they knew each other from MDA, it's full muscular dystrophy. Ryan started building costumes for his kids just to be a good dad. And then he went to Stan Winston, the Stan Winston school guys, Matt and Eric are the sons of Stan Winston. And they were like, hey, you should start this nonprofit. If you're going to do this, you should help everyone. So we started that, and then we got involved because Ryan and Christine knew each other. Yeah, that's how it started, just being a dad. And it just kind of grew. And other families saw it. We want that. It's just been word of mouth for the first few years. Then we've had some pretty sizable, awesome things happen. You're a good one in America, which is like, that's great. And a lot of people got involved, helped out. And then also the applicants flooded. How is this sustainable? Yeah.
So just kind of, you guys are very proud, someone who works on Comic-Con's exhibit team. You guys do have a booth here to show off your service work. Can you please tell our audience where it's located? And you have a few recipients here who are part of the show. Are you allowed to share? I guess, are those recipients' pieces now being displayed?
Yeah.
Share them what they are, please.
So, 4013. Thanks for 4013 is our booth number. We're right next to Nickelodeon, so you can't miss the pineapple. And then we did a House of the Dragon costume, which is creepy. They are thing that's 8 feet long. It looks rad, breathes fire. Not no fire, but the illusion of it. And then we did a Beetlejuice costume this morning, which was super cute. And kind of did a Monster High mashup, which is cool. And Barbie, which was part of the Her Universe show, the fashion show, that's the word for that. But 3 years ago, for a licensing expo, we did a little Barbie Corvette for her sister. And then fast forward, and applied for her other daughter. It's the same thing. And we gave her a car 2-3 years ago. So she has a walker, so we did a Barbie box. And we did the show together. Super cute. Car and Barbie dogs. It's pretty fun. But yeah, it's all over. Dragon, Barbie.
Fantastic. And then I guess Robert, you shout out. There will be a Barbie gathering tomorrow, correct?
There's a Barbie photo shoot, correct?
I think so.
I think there is. Yeah.
It's to talk to us afterwards, but this piece is the piece with the recipient or is on display at the booth?
Actually, we're going to move the costumes to in the folding area. There's a stanchion off area where everything's going to be moved to.
Okay.
Get off the floor for a bit.
Fantastic.
But they are rolling around. So
They are.
They're cruising. Yeah, having fun. Costume.
Fantastic. Okay. So have you guys heard from Scottie, you've heard from myself, Robert, and Kevin. We want to share this fandom with other people. Part of that is we're involved with community service in our local areas. One of those is UC Irvine Health. Allow me to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Joe. Dr. Joe, could you introduce, please, who you are and what you're part of our UCI Health, please?
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Victor Joe. I'm the director of the burn program at UC Irvine Health, which is actually in Orange, California, not in Irvine, but we're part of the university. So the interesting thing about burns is we take care of age groups, everything from the youngest I've taken care of is 6 weeks old, having to operate on burns all the way up into the 90s. And so all age groups, all different types of burns and different sizes of burns. And the thing that's different is that no matter the size of the burn, it could be devastating to one's life. And we, as an acute care hospital, of course, we do our best to take care of people through the acute illness, critical care for those that need it. But we also want to make sure that we are involved longitudinally throughout the continuum of their care, meaning no matter what they need as they continue to recover. For many of them, their physical ailments are ongoing, but even for those whose physical ailments are no longer a major issue for them, many of them still have psychological issues from their burn injuries, issues with social reintegration, getting back into a life of thriving rather than just surviving. And so in order to do that, we have survivor programs, and part of those are trying to have events that we have twice a year. We have things going on all the time for survivorship, but we have two main events, a twilight picnic, which is actually coming up in a couple weeks, every summer, and then we also have a winter, sort of a holiday celebration every December. And well, we open those to all the survivors and their families, and it's nothing medical about it. These are events meant for just people to come together, people who have gone through similar circumstances. And what has been amazing is linking up with the West Coast Avengers, and for several of our events now, they've been a presence. And it's been amazing to see, I think there was a little bit of getting used to, especially some of the younger kids. I remember some of the earlier events, but each one that's gone on, it's gained more and more momentum. And I think for me, the interesting thing about this whole thing as I've thought about it is, being a person who likes to fly under the radar, even my color schemes are very bland, and there are a lot of gray, blue, black, just very, I don't want to be seen. It always fascinated me to see cosplay, and not just putting on a costume. And so if you have events, you can get people to put on something. The biggest example, right, is Christmas when you have a Santa. And someone can put it on, but in cosplaying, where people really take it seriously as a hobby, where these costumes can be quite meticulous and they look like the character. And then you can take it up even a notch where people will come in character. And it's amazing to be able to have that at events. We would not be able to do enough at these events were it not for people who are utilizing, it's a skill. It's a hobby, yes, it's a skill. I have a skill. Everyone has skills and hobbies, and to be able to use something that you're passionate about, interested in, and then use it as a means of service, I think is just a tremendous thing to do. And so we really appreciate the time and effort that the West Coast Avengers have taken to continue to support our events. We look forward to it. We're very grateful, and I think it really enhances our events and makes it a time where these burn survivors and their families look forward to coming so that they can connect. Because the key part of what it does, you can say, well, what does this twice a year event do for their recovery? What it does, it helps us maintain a connection to them in a way that's just not an appointment, coming to a doctor's appointment, right? Coming to a fun event. But in the meantime, our whole team is there. Many people, they can see the love, the care, the support, and we can build connections, and they can interact with people they haven't met before. And just even the last one we had in December, we were able to link up a survivor who actually was part of a panel here, believe it or not, yesterday, connect her with a young survivor because she had gone through the same thing 30, 40 years previous. That wouldn't happen without these kind of events. These kind of events wouldn't be as grand, as meaningful without people like the West Coast Avengers. So I would encourage anyone who has an interest in cosplaying like that to look for opportunities. It will be well appreciated. You're going to make a tremendous impact.
Thank you. I know when I worked with Connected UC Rhine Health, and talking to some of your child life staff, something very poignant they said to me these two gatherings are just one of the few events that will go out socially. So I really appreciate you sharing this, the importance of what you guys do and putting together and allowing us to be a part of it. Just the sensitive nature of what these folks are going through. We just appreciate being part of these people's dealing with very difficult situations. So thank you again. All right, so as many of us know, Marvel is popular now because of movies. And, there's a little film that just came out called Deadpool versus Wolverine, about, these mutants and stuff like that. But obviously, as we've seen the last 16 years, or was it 2008 when Iron Man 1 came out, it's really blown up. And one thing I would like to discuss is just how we try to share that fandom with other people. Let me start off by introducing our next speaker, Kimberly. Kimberly, can you tell us what you do and why you sought this out when Avengers opened up in 2012, please?
I don't even know that I sought you out. Basically, I was organizing a fundraising event for my theater for Stars of Hope Children's Charities, which is a collection of charities that all relate to children. Stars of Hope covers a variety of children's charity, Make-A-Wish, Boys and Girls Club. But basically, we were trying to tailor that around the opening of Avengers because that's a tremendous amount of foot traffic that you can garner donations from. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And a friend of mine said that he had a friend who had a War Machine outfit. I was like, wow, I need to get this guy to come out because he would be really great to interact with people. And I was like, how can I bribe him to come? And it turns out that, no bribery was necessary because you had a whole team that just was into charity and into these kinds of events. So instead of just getting a War Machine, I got an entire Avengers Initiative. And back then, there was maybe half a dozen costumed characters that you could choose from. So it was really great watching over time the group grow as the diversity of the Marvel Cinematic Universe kind of encompassed more characters, more variants, more opportunities for people to cosplay because it was maybe a little male and maybe a little white dominated, but now you could be anyone cosplaying anything, and the amount of characters that can show up to an event these days is just astronomical. You can get twice as many people as just the original core group of Avengers. So it was really great. Without your participation, I doubt our fundraising event would have been as successful. So we really appreciate when you guys do come out and do stuff like that.
We're glad we could be of help. We were lucky. One of our already members is Marvel artist Ron Lim. He wanted to come out to support Stars for Hope by doing some charity sketches. Describe our audience. What was the reaction by your staff along with the audience that was there, seeing some Marvel art being brought to life in front of their faces?
Well, yeah, and people forget that it's based on comics because a lot of people's exposure to these characters is cinematic. It's from the movies, but it was so great to have Ron Lim come out and do those sketches because he would sketch it, there would be a donation, and that was really helpful too. And just everyone's passion for it was really great. It wasn't okay, I'm gonna put on a costume and I'm gonna show up and take a picture, and then but all of your officers really embody the characters and have a lot of enthusiasm, and it's great.
Well, thank you. It was a pleasure, especially for all of us, albeit being 12 years ago, seeing a team of superheroes like that come to life on the big screen. So we're glad we could share it with your audience back in the day. Any questions from you in the audience about what we've covered? Yes?
Yeah, absolutely. We don't do anything that would change their positioning or anything that would affect their mobility needs. So we would absolutely work around whatever their device. If it has a joystick, we make sure that there's a clearance. If they have to be positioned in any way, we won't change anything at all. But then we make it as fast to get in and out of it as possible. And we work with the families and ask the parents what are your specific needs. It has to be pushed from the back and designed it so the back is open. If if it's a manual chair, we'll design it so there's clearance for elbows. You know, and we measure every chair individually, because there's no way you can get a schematic from a company and that is no matter what, the one to modify it like crazy. Because everybody's body is different. It's not universally designed, which makes things difficult for us in our design process because everything has to be very much for that individual person.
Any other questions? Okay. What I wanted to do was kind of show one of our video pieces and kind of give some highlights to who we are as a group. So give me a second to switch over to video. I have a quick question, sorry, for the panel. Do I need to connect to 3mm or the HDMI be sufficient for audio?
Give us a second, we'll find an 80 version for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So by the way, if you know of any charities that are interested in having, depending where we're at, charity work for superheroes to come out, then just give us a call. Is there a way to contact them?
Yeah, so to contact us, go to our, here's our main page. So our main webpage has all of our chapters as well. You can also send submissions to our Facebook page, also through our Instagram. So myself, Bryan, as a branding officer, we have access to these resources, and we definitely, if any of you want to reach out to us, we definitely do what we can to assist anyone or answer any questions about our group. Yes.
Is it an application that the nonprofit or organization fills out for that request?
Wait,
For the nonprofit, do they fill out an application on?
Oh, so for our group, we have an online application form, which is specifically on our website. And also on the website, we also have an event form. So, if you're a comic convention, if you're part of a service organization, you want us to appear, we also have a form on our website to be filled out, where we can, once we get the email from the form, we'll get back to you to see what we can do to assist.
And back off of that, obviously for anybody who wants to join, as a member, for example, we're always welcome to have more and more Avengers, especially kind of touching on what Kimberly mentioned about how more and more that that the MCU expands and gives people more opportunity for characters that they want to embody. It's been a thrill to watch our organization grow, as well as alongside the MCU, and having more and more people, find characters that reflect, who they are. It's a joy to just have more and more people getting into Marvel cosplay. And if you haven't quite dropped the hammer yet, by all means, certainly have, I'm sure my fellow cosplayers certainly have experiences of having friends who maybe haven't quite dipped their toe in yet and having a little bit trepidation about it. And I always just tell them, don't, just dive into it. Because I feel like a lot of people get a little bit caught into, especially seeing how incredible some of the cosplay work that some people do is, and by all means it is incredible. But of course, comparison is it's the thief of joy. At the same time, I feel like people should be able to enjoy diving in. And you don't necessarily have to so few people make their costumes from scratch. Many of us, will purchase them or find something to sort of modify and kind of make it our own little. We don't want to do any gatekeeping here. By all means, you can work within your own means. And part of the joy also of joining a club like this and meeting other cosplayers is kind of cross-pollinating, is comparing notes and also suggesting how to build certain things like I have friends who are significantly better at phone smoothing than I am, and so I turn to them and we'll work on things together, or kind of teach people how to do this kind of sewing or do this kind of painting. We're all friendly people, and we've made certainly made many great friends through joining the club. So at the very least, if you want to join it just for the sake of getting a little more social within the cosplay community, by all means, we'd love to have you guys. And also get a taste of what it's like to be a part of a volunteer organization like this. Like a little bit like Kevin mentioned before, when you get those smiles on those kids' faces, and also like Victor talked a little bit about how like a lot of these younger kids literally think that you are that superhero. It's a great joy to be able to embody that kind of embody that for the kids. I know certainly there have been events like, for example, where one of my costumes is Shang-Chi, and little kids will run up and be like, "Are your wings real?" And if you don't want to break that fantasy for them, so I'll tell them, "I got them from my dad. He got them from space." Things like that. It's always such a joy interacting with the kids who just light up when they see actual Avengers in their mind. And by all means, have you guys join. And certainly, like as Mark pointed out, we have the Avengers HQ website. We're also on Facebook and Instagram, and we also have pages for each of our individual chapters. So Avengers Cosplay is our main national level, but we also have West Coast Avengers and Avengers in the Pacific and Avengers have their own pages too. So go ahead and check us out, and certainly by all means, we'd love to have you.
I want to bounce off that. It's the same. Magic Butcher is kind of the same as a club. In a lot of ways, we're all like one giant family now. We network, we learn from each other, so we're constantly trying to, it's like, if you were to come to us and you want to volunteer to build, by the way, that's how we operate. We have volunteer builders, and then we run off donations. So everyone volunteers their time, and we pay for the materials and all the event expenses and everything like that. But it became, I want to get involved somehow. You're like, no, I don't know how to build anything. Well, we'll kind of help you learn, but also we need people to work with said events. We need people that know how to do social media. Just plug this time. People who are down to help with organizing fundraiser events or anything like that. So, but we're like one giant network. So it takes a village. We gotta all do this together. So magicculture.org and every social media platform, obviously, because you have to.
Well, thank you all for coming out. We all hope you enjoyed the rest of your Comic-Con experience, and take care.